João Pedro restores parity. Brighton have their first goal of the new year and they are level against Arsenal. Brilliant penalty again from Pedro. Sent right the wrong way, and that is right into the side netting. Perfect from Pedro.
Keeping the ball high up. This is decent from the Albion. Prodded into Veltman with the first time ball towards the back post, and there is the opener from Jorginho Rutter. Oh, he made it look really easy, nodding it back the other way and into the far corner. Veltman with the ball in, and he just nods it back across goal. Well, that's good intensity there from Minte. Driving forward here, and he's got Jorginho to his right, and they've doubled their lead, the Seagulls, on the stroke of half-time. Jorginho Rutter is at it again. Minte has to be given so much credit, just driving at the Norwich defenders, offloads it to Jorginho. There may have been a touch on its way through that helps it lift into the roof of the net. Schwartau needed defensively again. Oh, and Enciso's robbed Hills. Enciso for three! He finds the corner from the tightest angle. And surely that does put the seal on it. Just over half an hour to go. Hills was looking in field. He wasn't sure if Long wanted it. Enciso wanted it. And he curls it perfectly into the far corner. Brilliant work from the Seagulls. The press has been effective all afternoon, and Enciso profits. Conville it is who will just stay in deep, and that allows Van Hecker to stride forward. And now Welbeck leaves it in for March. 4-0 to the Seagulls. A touch of class from Solly March. What a way to mark your return from injury. He almost did it against Brentford, and he has done it this afternoon in the FA Cup against Norwich. Everyone involved to congratulate Solly March.
Veltman. It's beyond the legs of Greaves and into Ayari. Laid back off to Matt O'Reilly. Mitoma to hit one, and it's squirmed in for Brighton Hove Albion. It's Kaoru Mitoma on the score sheet away from home, squeezing it under Walton to give the Seagulls the lead. It fell to him kindly, and he powered it through the crowd to make it Ipswich Town 0, Brighton Hove Albion 1, and with that, Kaoru Mitoma equals Shinji Okazaki as the record all-time Japanese scorer in the Premier League. Up goes the arm from Ayari. It is driven low and hard. Welbeck helping it on. Jorginho has tucked it in. 2 against Norwich, 1 versus their rivals Ipswich. It's 3-2 for Jorginho, and he might just have put this game to bed. East Anglia is quickly becoming his playground. It's Ipswich 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2.
Carlos Baliba loves that switch in behind, and why not? Because that's a brilliant ball, and Mitoma's in. Mitoma, Minte, 1-0 Albion. Direct, determined and decisive. Yankuba Minte gives the Albion the lead at Old Trafford. Oh, it was brilliantly simple. Manchester United caught napping as Mitoma breezed in behind, the simplest of passes across, and Minte was there to apply the finish. A dream start at the Theatre of Dreams for Brighton. Ayari, wonderfully done. Yasin Ayari. Ayari to Minte. Ayari's been caught. Minte's cross. Oh, it's in! Kaoru Mitoma at the back post. Albion denied by VAR moments ago have got themselves in front again. Not to be denied this time. It was beautifully worked. The creator and the goal scorer reversed. the effect the same. A brilliant Brighton goal, and Albion are in front at Old Trafford. March again, and that's lovely down the line for Iyari, and Iyari looks first time. It's too close to Onana, he's dropped it. Jorginho! 3-1 Brighton. Jorginho again. The man in form grabs the goal that could be decisive. March involved with a lovely clip down the line. Iyari first time, far too close to Onana. That is awful goalkeeping. Jorginho was there, so alert to the chance. The Albion fans sing Jorginho's name with glee.
Lamptey towards the head of Jorginho, and punched away by Sanchez. Back in from Veltman, another good ball and a brilliant header. A near instant response from Jorginho. This is quickly becoming his competition. It was swung in brilliantly by the Dutchman, and Jorginho, between the two centre-backs, rising highest to steer it into the bottom left. Kaoru Mitoma can keep this in play. Back towards Lamptey. Lamptey shoots, not cleared convincingly. Jorginho, and now Kaoru Mitoma! It's in! It's him again in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Just as he did against Liverpool 2 seasons ago. Albion pressure pays off. And Mitoma's deft flick nestles in the corner of Robert Sanchez's goal.
It looks long. It's a good-looking long ball as well. Very good-looking. What a touch from Kaoru Mitoma. Is he in? Mitoma! Oh, it's wonderful from Kaoru Mitoma. A magician at the peak of his powers. It's Kaoru Mitoma against Chelsea again. Well, it's very rare you get an assist from a goalkeeper. Bart Verbruggen spotted the run of Kaoru Mitoma, picked him out. Look at that. Launch long, route one, the best route, because when you have a touch like that, Kaoru Mitoma with a velvet touch, absolutely beautiful. Took it down and away from Chalobah. Couple of touches, and then he finds the bottom corner. Brilliant player, brilliant goal, brilliant from Brighton to take the lead against Chelsea. Baliba, lovely touch for Welbeck, even better touch for Jorginho. Jorginho breezing past one, and what a cross! Welbeck is there, touch to Minte, Minte drives it in! 2-0 Albion! They took an age to find the space, but once they did, Minte was clinical, and Brighton have a 2-goal cushion. He kept his composure, and he kept it low, drilling it beyond Jorgensen. Danny Welbeck had the presence of mind to find Minte, and that is a very composed finish. Colwell's gone down, he wants a free kick, not going to get one. Brighton have it back with Minte. Welbeck's there, here is Danny Welbeck, through for Minte, beautifully done, Minte again, Minte! 3-0! He makes it look so easy. Yankuba Minte at the double, and Albion have their third. Minte collects. The exchange with Welbeck was superb. Little give and go, well onside, round Cucurella, and then just slips it beyond Jorgensen. Good touch from Pedro, and Pedro could be in here. Pedro's one-on-one. João Pedro, that is impeccable. And Brighton have the lead that they have been threatening from the first minute. Look at that, lovely. It was his touch that fell to Jorginho, Slight bit of fortune about how it reached him, but nothing fortunate about the finish at all. That is João Pedro at his absolute best. Oh, it's fallen for Minte. He's got Jorginho in the middle. Should be two. It is two. Brighton carve through Southampton and double their lead. The touch was from Minte. No foul there. Minte, one touch outside of the boot to curl it delightfully into the path of Jorginho. Lovely touch for Mitoma, and Mitoma could be away. Here it is. Mitoma one-on-one. Mitoma, delightful. Kaoru Mitoma in a rich vein of form. Pedro with the touch, and Mitoma didn't need a second invitation. He just raced clear. And he'd obviously watched João Pedro in the first half closely, because that is a mirror image of a finish. Just lifting it wonderfully over Aaron Ramsdale. Splendid work from Brighton. Kaoru Mitoma's at it again. Good delivery, falls for Hinshelwood, and Hinshelwood drives home. That will most certainly do for Brighton. They'll be taking all 3 points back along the south coast as Jack Hinshelwood drives in their fourth. João Pedro oozes confidence in this situation. Pedro versus Kepa. And it's Pedro, penalty perfection yet again. Albion take the lead. He never looks rushed, he never looks hurried, he never looks nervous, and he dispatches penalties time and time again. Yari into Jorginho. Jorginho away from one and into Welbeck. Welbeck's in. Welbeck! Oh, it's in! Danny Welbeck has smuggled it in. Yari into Jorginho, whose thought was to turn and drive for goal. He slides in Welbeck, and that is a measured finish. Absolute precision from Danny Welbeck. The coolest of heads when it mattered most.
Empty lobbing that one down the line, and Minte is able to find the midriff of João Pedro, and Minte's played in here one-on-one for the leveller. He's done it against his old side. A muted celebration from Yankuba Minte. Well, no muted celebrations from the travelling Albion fans. Maybe that this goes down as an own goal. João Pedro it is, with the perfect through ball. And then Minte slides it in. Gruda maybe just for a moment was offside there, but he gets back onside. There's space over on that right-hand side, opening up nicely now for Solly March. Taking his time and played in to Danny Welbeck! Yes! Astonishing! Remarkable! Extraordinary! It had to be Danny Welbeck to silence the Newcastle fans. Breathless, almost speechless. I'll try and find the words for you. March is just invited forward. Sensibly plays an incredibly weighted ball through to Danny Welbeck, who lifts it into the roof of the net. The professional that Danny Welbeck is absolutely loves it.
Will it be a Yari this time? It will. And he floats it in. And Van Hecke's there! And Van Hecke scores! His first goal for the Albion draws Brighton level. And what a header it was! Brighton have responded in superb fashion. 5 minutes between the goals. Brighton have hauled themselves level. And it's fan favourite Jan-Paul Van Hecke with his first goal for the Seagulls. Superb header. Can Albion make a giant leap forward in their race for Europe? Pedro against Leno. Pedro scores! The Amex goes wild. An epic finish to the game. And João Pedro, the coolest head in the Amex. Leno guessed right, but it didn't matter. And yet again, João Pedro is deadly from the spot. It will be Estupiñán, and he cracks it in! Absolutely stunning from Estupiñán. What a free kick that is! Purvis Estupiñán strolled up to it, casual as you like, and curls it in off the post. Absolutely brilliant. That is perfection from Estupiñán. Estupiñán with the Brighton corner, the first of the second half. Drives it towards the back post, Webster, and it's in! Brighton are level! Hinshelwood was there, it may have come off Kusanov. The perfect start to the second half. The away end in raptures as Webster heads it back in. They're all onside. Hinshelwood turned it goalwards, and Kusanov could only turn it beyond his own goalkeeper. Brighton level, an absolute thriller at the Etihad.
O'Reilly. Minter's cross in towards Welbeck, and it's in! A record-setting goal for Danny Welbeck, and it comes in this game against this opponent. Danny Welbeck equalising against Palace, just as he did last season. A fantastic cross by Yankuba Minteh, and a deft, cultured, experienced touch into the corner. And it arrives off the boot of Danny Welbeck. For the second time in as many seasons, he scores at Selhurst Park.
Pedro in front of the Leicester fans against Hermansen, and he rolls it home. João Pedro gives Albion the lead, and then glares at the away fans who'd been trying to put him off. For the second time this afternoon, it's João Pedro against Mads Hermansen. Deep intake of breath. Pedro, he scores and restores Albion's lead. João Pedro, worth his weight in gold as a penalty taker. He is absolutely deadly from the spot. Once again, he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and Brighton thoroughly deserve that. Minteh drops a shoulder. Vifa steers it in. Welbeck's header is beautifully placed, and Danny Welbeck, right at the end of the half, makes it all square. This is a header of rare beauty. How he squeezed it in from here. Had to fight to get on the end of it. The cross was really well guided onto his head, but Welbeck does all the hard work, leaning back, wrestling his marker. March. Nicely to Hinshelwood. Through for Mitoma. Mitoma slides it home. Brighton back in it. Really well worked. Mitoma threatened moments ago and didn't make the most of his chance. Not so this time. That was taken expertly. Hinshelwood with the perfect weight of pass. The run outstanding from Mitoma. Adingra. Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood to Ayari. Ayari lines one up, and it's absolutely outstanding from Yassin Ayari. What a way to score your first ever Albion goal. It was well worked. Hinshelwood looked to see who was available. Yassin Ayari popped up, and that is simply superb. A strike of incredible beauty. He used the defender in front of him, whipped it round him, and left Areola grasping at fresh air. Wonderful from Yassin Ayari. Slaloms in field, Gomez floats it to the back post, Gruder across, Mitoma's there, 2-2! Brighton back level, Kaoru Mitoma once again. Minte's willingness to run at players, drew defenders, delightful from Gomez, over to Gruder. I'm not sure what the West Ham defence is doing because Kaoru Mitoma is completely unmarked. Everyone on the edge of their seats. Kelko Wood! A shot to nothing! That means everything! Unbelievable drama! And an absolutely epic finish from Carlos Baleba to win it at the death for Brighton. Absolute disbelief inside the Amex when this reaches Baleba. Couple of touches. Incredible. Few would have thought of trying it. Fewer still would have been able to execute it. But Carlos Baleba has made the extraordinary look easy, and the turnaround is complete. Dingra scoops it in, dangerous looking cross. Vifa wraps his foot around it to tee up Minte. Minte on his left. Minte still going, 1-0! And he celebrates in front of the Newcastle fans. A brilliant finish from Yankuba Minte to give Albion the lead. That little pause was outstanding. It leaves the whole Newcastle defence wrong-footed. Welbeck very focused indeed. Short run up. Welbeck strokes it in. Brighton do have their lead now. Danny Welbeck leading from the front to give Albion the lead, and it is richly, richly deserved. Vifa wins the header. Adingra. Can Brighton put this game to bed? Adingra through for Gruder. Gruder, delicate. It's decisive, and Albion have their second. It means so much to Brian Gruder. An emotional celebration from Brian Gruder, who's had to be patient for his chances in the first team, but he is capable of technical brilliance like this. That is a deft finish. Albion needed him to be composed, and he was all that and more. Welbeck, Gruder, over the top, great ball as well. Ayari in! Brilliant, brilliant finish. Yassin Ayari sneaking in behind to equalise for the Albion. A cool head was required, and Yassin Ayari certainly had that. No rush, no panic. He didn't try and smash it. Just made sure he had it under control and guides it beyond Alisson. Ayari clever into Baleba, and Baleba drives forward into the space available to him. Still going, Carlos Baleba. Now he offloads it to Mitoma. Estepinian's on the overlap, he squeezed it through. Welbeck, Alisson with the save. Mitoma! Kaoru Mitoma does the damage. Off the bench, instant impact, Brighton back level. It was his vision that spotted the pass that opened up the Liverpool defence, and then he followed up once Alisson had made yet another save to ram it beyond the Brazilian and force Brighton level. Mitoma with such a good flick, and it's Hinchelwood, and now it's O'Reilly. He's got Howell up there. Howell makes the run, but it's dropped to Mitoma. Move still alive for Brighton. Mitoma O'Reilly across and at the back post. They've scored. Brighton think they've scored, but the flag is raised. Hinshelwood straight off the bench to be the hero, and it's chalked off. It's given. Brighton can celebrate. Jack Hinshelwood straight off the bench. The hero for the Seagulls. They lead the champions for the first time. Remarkable in a season filled with moments of incredible drama. Brighton have produced another in the final minutes of the final Premier League game of the season at the Amex. Now Gruder with the corner, and it's curled in. The header is met and it's lashed in. Brighton level. It's that man again, Jack Hinshelwood. Right place, right time, no mistake from the youngster. Gruder clipping it across. Webster was up there to win the header. Slack defending, and then from within the 6-yard box, he rifles it in beyond Vicario. Gruder swings it in. And it's backheeled in. It's Hinshelwood again. He's on a hat-trick. He's on a high. He won them the game on Monday night against the champions. And Jack Hinshelwood simply cannot stop scoring. It's a really clever finish as well. He is onside as it ricochets to him. Webster involved again. And that is so clever from Jack Hinshelwood. What a player he is. A local lad, a young talent, given his opportunity in the first team and seizing it with both hands. Focus on the ball, plenty of deep breaths, then a look up. O'Reilly into the side netting. Brighton ending the season on a high. And Matt O'Reilly dashes to the away end to celebrate. They turned this game around. And he was a picture of focus. A little glance up, Vicario guessing the right way, but there's no saving that. Veltman, Mitoma. Gomez arcs it. That is absolutely magnificent from Diego Gomez. What a way to end the season. What a way to score your first goal. The Paraguayan wheels away in delight, and rightly so. This, his best moment in an Albion shirt, and he saved it right until the end of the season. A blistering strike. So many good goals scored by the Seagulls this season. That is up there with the best of them. The future is so bright for the Albion. O'Reilly against Bernd Leno. O'Reilly scores! Albion's new season up and running thanks to Matt O'Reilly from the spot. Brighton lead Fulham by 1-0, given an attacking midfield role, and he looked as calm as João Pedro from 12 yards, just stroking it exactly where he wanted it. Gruder, round one, still going, Brian Gruder, and it's looped up and in. Brighton lead. A wicked deflection on the strike, and it's Olivier Boscagli on his debut. Great run from Gruder, dancing feet to make the space, and then that deflection, all the loop to flick it over the despairing dive of Ingram and into the corner. Milner spots where the space is. What a ball out to Veltman, and it's helped over the top for Gruder. Gruder could be in here, steadies himself. Brilliant from Gruder, devastating from Brighton. Brian Gruder has made amends in style with the assist for the opener, and then this wonderfully worked and extremely well taken second. Great control, steadied himself and smashed beyond Ingram. And it is in. Looped in. Oxford didn't clear their lines. And Brighton have a third. Diego Gomez is peeling away to celebrate. No, it was poorly defended. All he had to do was stand there. Coppola was making a nuisance of himself. And Gomez was right there to prod in. Oxford have only themselves to blame. And Simas is in. Is this going to be a debut goal? It is! Debut delight for Stefanos Simas. Beautifully taken. He's looked a threat from the very second he stepped foot on the pitch. And that is exactly what he would have dreamed of. How? Simas. Simas! A second for Simas! What a night it's turning out to be for Brighton, but particularly for teenage striker on debut, Stefanos Simas. He's on a hat-trick. He's only been on the field a matter of minutes. Breaks for Watson. Can Albion get a 6? They can. It's a debut goal for Watson. Magnificent finish from the youngster. They have been ruthless. Watson here knew exactly what he was going to do before he even received it. A couple of touches to get it out of his body, and then he arcs it well beyond Ingram. Perfectly placed. The whistle is blown. James Milner with a little shuffle, the run up, and into the bottom corner. Beautifully converted by James Milner against his former club, and Brighton are doing it again against Manchester City. A goal behind, they are right back in it. No mistake from Milner. How does he keep playing at the level he does? A superb professional, and he has kept his head in front of that North stand, who celebrate raucously, and why wouldn't they? Jorginho leaves it for Matoma, and is slotted through for Gruder, and Gruder's in. Can he win it for Brighton? Brilliant from Gruder, and he tucks it away! Magnificent! Lightning strikes twice. Brighton have done it to Manchester City again. A goal behind, they've roared back to lead late, and this time it's Brian Gruder's moment. Manchester City were pouring forward, they left gaps. Gruder well onside. This is an outstanding finish. He leaves Trafford and his marker on the floor, and then rolls it into the empty net. Absolutely outstanding. Brian Gruder's biggest moment in a Brighton shirt, and it may be another match-winning moment against Manchester City, and Brighton's first 3 points of the new season. Jorginho has to turn back to the right-hand side and then scoops it over the top, looking for Minte. Truffert with him. Minte bent it across, great delivery, 1-1! Kaoru Mitoma sneaking in at the back post gives Brighton the perfect start to the second half. The two wide men combine. Minte teasing his marker and then whipping over an absolutely delightful cross, and all Mitoma had to do was get his head on it and guide it into the empty net. Gruder, that's superbly done. And through now for Minte, brilliantly put through by Jorginho. Minte races away, he's in. Minte round the keeper, wonderfully done to give Albion the lead. A razor-sharp counter-attack from the Seagulls. as he receives the acclaim of his teammates, Jorginho amongst them. It was his clever ball over the top that sent Minte clear. Gruder with some great work, brilliantly worked round the keeper and rolls it home. Bergvall trying to bring it away, given away by Bergvall. Ayari strike! Audacious, outrageous, and quite brilliant from Yassin Ayari. They'd given the ball away. Bergvall gives it straight back to the Seagulls. And then Ayari from distance lets fly. That is an outstanding strike. Catching it so sweetly.
Find Tommy Watson in space. Cross goes in, deflected. Awkward for Barnsley. Out as far as Belieber. Hit by Coppola. Bounces through to Watson and Gomez. And there is the opener. It had been a bright start by the League One side, but Diego Gomez slides in for his second goal in as many League Cup games. Coppola kept it alive. Watson squared it across goal. And Gomez was there to slide it home. And he scored his first goal for the club in the Premier League. Added one against Oxford United at the start of this season in the League Cup, and has scored again tonight. Does have a habit of popping up in the right areas. Can play anywhere in that midfield role, really. Here's Tommy Watson. Welbeck to his right. It's run through to Gomez. My word, what a hit. Diego Gomez has almost taken the net off at Oakwell. He has thundered that home past Cooper to make it Barnsley 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2. Quickly becoming his favourite competition, the League Cup. It's his third goal in just 2 games in it thus far. And he has ripped his right boot through that one. That is as sweet a strike as you will see. Long from Coppola. Gomez, why not? Oh, he's done it again! It's a hat-trick for Gomez. The first was good, the second was brilliant, the third is out of this world. An uninterrupted hat-trick for Diego Gomez. That is magnificent. It sat up in midfield, but not for one moment did anyone think he'd hit it. Well, when it's your evening, it's just your evening, and they all fly in, and that one was fabulous. Ayari, Welbeck, pop through, Diego Gomez again! He had 2 Seagulls goals coming into today's game. He'll leave it with at least 6. Diego Gomez with his and the Albion's 4th. Incredible individual performance, and just as Barnsley were creeping back in, it's that man again to extinguish their dreams, Diego Gomez. Good tracking back from Kostulas. Now Watson, still full of running for the Seagulls. Tommy Watson, prodded through, Harry Howe! It's 5 for the Seagulls, and that one might be extra special. A young man with a very bright future gets his first senior Albion goal. Tasker. Gomez. Ayari rather has added a 6th. It's another screamer. What have they fed them before this game? Yassin Ayari lashes a 6th Albion goal past Murphy Cooper. And it's another belter.
Minte still carrying Brighton's biggest threat. Minte's cross, a brilliant one! And Danny Welbeck right on cue. There's the equaliser. They have been threatening that. Danny Welbeck himself had already gone close. Fabulous wing play from Minte. Didn't try and do too much with it. Just find a yard, shift it beyond the defender, and then whip it in and hope that someone's in the middle to do the rest. Danny Welbeck did all that and more. They've gone short. Minte. Back out to Ayari. The angle changed. Vifa across! 2-1 Albion! Unbelievable scenes at Stamford Bridge. The Albion come from behind and they look to have snatched victory. Maxim de Kuyper, I think, has got his first Albion goal. What a time to score it. Brilliant cross from Ayari. Well controlled header by Vifa. And Maxim de Kuyper, the brilliant Belgian, sneaking in completely unmarked to steer the header beyond Sanchez. That's what it means to score your first Brighton goal. Minte, Gruder, through for Welbeck, 3-1. There's the icing on the cake. Danny Welbeck wheels away, twirling his shirt above his head. Minte again involved, winning the ball back. And Welbeck with a classy finish, the kind we've come to expect. Brighton have roared back in this second half and deserve the 3 points that are coming their way.
They take the corner short. De Kuyper, first time. In it goes, and it's in for 1-1. Jan-Paul van Hecke, late on. Wave after wave of Seagulls attacks. And eventually it pays dividends through Jan-Paul van Hecke. De Kuyper with a splendid cross in, and it's pinpoint from Jan-Paul van Hecke into that left corner.
There's Jorginho, and Jorginho, through it goes, Welbeck's in, Danny Welbeck, beautifully done! A superb finish from Danny Welbeck. Slide rule from Jorginho, the perfect weight of pass, and Danny Welbeck did the rest in style to give Albion the lead. To Ayari. Ayari, great ball for Vifa. Vifa, what a tackle, Welbeck! Wonderful once again from Danny Welbeck. Albion retake the lead. Is that the goal that gives Brighton all 3 points? Minte, Welbeck, Gomez, all there. It'll be Welbeck, and Welbeck! Magnificent! Danny Welbeck's at it again. Milner's cross, the header's there! Brighton have pulled another one back. A first goal in blue and white for Babis Kostoulas.
Minte, good touch round Goodmanson, chipped over the top, Vifa could be in, Max Vifa, and Danny Welbeck! Of course it's Danny Welbeck! It's always Danny Welbeck at the moment, and he has scored again for the Albion. Lovely touch round Goodmanson from Minte. The ball in behind to Vifa was clever, and Vifa ran onto it and squared it brilliantly to Danny Welbeck, who always seems in the right place at the right time, and so it proved again. Well, a great deal ahead of Jan-Paul van Hecke. So it's long instead to Yankuba Minte, and it's turned into a very good ball. Minte brings it down against Goodmanson. Will he take the Swede into the penalty area? Crossed along the near post and bundled home for the Albion second. And Diego Gomez has slid in to double the Albion's lead. His 6th goal of the season. His first of this Premier League campaign. And Diego Gomez has made it Brighton Hove Albion 2, Leeds United 0. Minter across the face of goal. Jorginho ran over it and Diego Gomez just had to make contact. And it was oh so sweet contact for the Seagulls to double their advantage and give them that cushion. Chipped wide, intercepted by Jorginho. Danny Welbeck will try and hold it up. Bogle's given it away and Jorginho can carry it into the penalty area from a tight angle, pulled back and rolled home. And Brighton Hove Albion have a third and Diego Gomez is at the double. And Diego Gomez has his name to the Albion's 400th Premier League goal. And after the Albion won it high, good running from Jorginho, carried him into the penalty area. A cutback which was begging to be slammed home. And the Paraguayan Diego Gomez does just that for number 7 of the season. Dunk. Minter. Past Aya. Crossed in towards Danny Welbeck! There's the leveller! And Danny Welbeck atones for the miss earlier in the half. Spectacular ball by Yankuba Minter. And a run timed to perfection by the evergreen Danny Welbeck. 7 in his last 7 in the Premier League. And it's those instincts, those unteachable characteristics, which has led him to those last 7 Premier League goals. The North Stand erupts as Welbeck slides home. Hinchelwood, good first touch. Fired wide, Minter running onto it. No one really in the penalty area. Jorginho not in a hurry to join in. Now Yankuba Minter driving forward, one-on-one. Minter blocked well, hit on the follow-up! And in! The Albion have turned it on its head. And Jack Hinchelwood against the club. He scored his first Seagulls goal against. Has lashed one home. Well, it wasn't the fiercest of drives, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but it could be the sweetest for the Seagulls. Jack Hinchelwood, who was a teenager in December of 2023, headed home to make it Albion 2, Brentford 1. Might have fired home from the edge of the area for the same scoreline this time. Ran onto it, it hit it into the ground, and Kelleher never had a clear sight of it. And Hinchelwood's half volley from the edge bounces beautifully into the bottom corner to make it Brighton Hove Albion 2, Brentford 1.
Vifa, Jorginho, and it should be 1-0, it's 1-0! Brighton finally get their goal. Maxim de Kuyper ghosting in from the left-hand side. He made that look very, very simple. Well, it's the Belgian's second goal for the club. His first came in the away win at Chelsea, and he's got another here. Although VAR might have a look for offside. Let's hope not from an Albion perspective. Wonderfully worked, the little leave from Welbeck. Excellent. As Jorginho threaded the pass through, and de Kuyper all on his own in the area. Sells rushing out to meet him. And he beats his fellow countryman right-footed, absolutely buried it. And Gruder goes down and it's been pinched and rolled in by Seamas. A massive moment for the Albion, and a moment Stefanos Seamas will never forget. His first Premier League goal surely seals all 3 points for the Seagulls. Listen to the away end roar, and rightly so. The teenager has managed to squeeze it in, and that is a huge goal for Stefanos Seamas. He milks the applause, and why not? Huge moment in his Albion career. Gruder snuck in, and Seamas was there to prod home. Predatory from the Greek. Great forward play. He shows his striker's instincts when Brighton needed him to. Brighton caused Nottingham Forest some bother at the weekend with their set pieces. And he's missed, it's in! Albion lead! Aston Villa desperately unhappy about it. Van Hecke, I think, got the final touch and peels away to celebrate. Bezo's appealing for a push. There's a delightful cross from Kadioglu. Bezo is really unconvincing there. Whether he gets a little nudge or not, it doesn't feel like there's a lot there. Seamas, maybe a little touch from De Kuyper, and Van Hecke's there, wrestling with Torres. Comes off an arm, it's messy. Not even sure Van Hecke gets the last touch. So many bodies in there. Hinchelwood races onto it, Hinchelwood away here, Hinchelwood in on goal, and it's in! An own goal, Albion double their lead. Off the bench, instant impact from Jack Hinchelwood, and Albion have a 2-goal lead against Aston Villa. It was so easy for them to race through here. Jack Hinchelwood all on his own. Had a look up, he was trying to cross it, and it ricochets in via Pau Torres. Bezo no chance. And Aston Villa at the moment sinking without trace. FIFA. Van Hecke's there, Van Hecke scores again! Second for the Dutchman, Brighton back in it. Well, that was stroked in like a forward. Both Watkins and now Van Hecke on a hat-trick. What more can this game give us? Brilliant finish. Played into Van Hecke, he started the move. And then he just strides onto it with the utmost confidence and whips it beyond Bezo. And Brighton are well back in this game. We are set for a grandstand finish.
Recycled back to Hinchelwood, has to go in the area now. Overhead kick from Castulas, Jorginho! Remarkable from Areola, in front of goal, Jorginho again! Loss! Gasp! Drama at the Amex! Jorginho smashes it home from the angle. He's just kept plugging away. And eventually the West Ham wall breaks. Babis Castulas did brilliantly to create the chance for the Albion. Hinchelwood lofted one in the area. The overhead kick came in. Jorginho had one effort blocked. Van Hecke helped it back to him. And then Jorginho squeezed it under Areola.
Minte. Minte drills it in. Jorginho tries to turn. Ayari, and Ayari drives it off the post. So unlucky. Brighton have one back. Out of absolutely nothing. Gomez halves the deficit. Well, the Emirates absolutely stunned. Little bit of fortune in how it got to Jorginho. Ayari so clever to make space for the shot. And Gomez making absolutely no mistake when it comes back off the post. He was right where he needed to be, and he absolutely buries that. Brighton, against all the odds, considering the flow of the game, are right back in it. Danny Welbeck against Alphonse Areola. A shuffled run up. Welbeck scores! Albion on level terms at the London Stadium. Perfectly dispatched from Danny Welbeck. And Brighton right back into the game. Well, that's a clinical penalty. Sending Areola the wrong way. Giving him the eyes. Adioglu whips it. Areola's missed it! Bellman turns it in! Areola complaining. It looked as if Joel Veltman got the final touch. It was swirling and dangerous from Kadioglu, and it was Veltman who turned it in. Can't see a foul in there. He had Kilman and Van Hecker for company. And that's a neat finish from Joel Veltman. Not a regular goal scorer, but often pops up with a big moment. And Joel Veltman on the score sheet to make things all square at the London Stadium.